For educational purposes only. The Art of Selfishness. Chapter 11. Know your own mind. How can I be wisely selfish if I don't understand what myself is? People ask, I don't know what I am like. That may be, but I doubt if the excuse is tenable. I have only to suggest to someone that he possesses faults that are conspicuously lacking to have him say, oh, no, I'm not like that. People know themselves, but don't know they do. Try the law of economy on your personality. Boil yourself down to a few attributes you are certain are characteristic of your nature. Accent those phases. Insist on being true to them. Don't compromise them on any occasion. From this start in personal integrity, you will soon get to know yourself. According to modern science, you are the product of your chromosomes, those minute divisions of the reproductive cells of your ancestors that carry the psychic potentials of your ancestral lines. You, according to this teaching, are a constitution with certain endowments of vigor that determine in large measure how you act. You may have strong healthy glands, which help you to be good. You may have weak or unruly glands, making health and adjustment difficult. Your nervous poise may be stable or imbalanced. This is neither a credit nor a fault. You may have sound or diseased organs, a vigorous or a mediocre brain, a high or a low intelligence quotient. Your abilities might be striking or poor. Your possibilities great or small. That isn't your responsibility either. Emotionally, the picture is even more significant. What science call your protopathic tendencies. In other words, the urge of your protoplasm, the motive power of your cells, the hunger drives of your being, may be riotous or orderly, surging and powerful, or mild and supine. Your instincts may press, your impulses impel, your emotions of rage, fear, sex, wonder, and all the feelings and sensation that go with them, may give you furious longing, or leave you with only a mild reaction. That, too, is nature's handiwork, created by what we call the bionomic flow, or life force, in your being. You're not to blame for what fate dealt you. Any teaching that holds you at fault because you weren't born angel is a vicious lie. More than this, there is no successful handling of destiny, no wise control of your troubles. Until you get over your guilt about being the person you are, you must take your attention off yourself and turn it to solving your difficulties. The greater cause of failure is self-doubt, self-blame, self-consciousness. Next to this is the effort to become something you aren't and can never be. Just become someone, or some setting demands it. You can't get different nerves, gain somebody else's glands, or acquire his brain. You cannot command his abilities, or make yourself produce his power, nor have you his limitations and strange mixture of tendencies. You aren't driven by the same sexual desires, nor fretted an equal rage. The way to meet your troubles is to cease perverting your personality and release your latent capacity. Salvation lies in repudiation of external needs and in discovering and expressing your internal nature. You cannot train a cattle dog to hunt, nor a wolfhound to herd. Each what science calls a proponent response to life. The finding of this inherent trend is essential to success in use. To which dog, or man, can be put, it is not what one tells you you ought to do that is right to follow, but what your own organism determines. Are you put yourself in order, and keep yourself so? You do not need to do more. No bogus self-coercion is necessary. No duty, other than to be yourself. The facts of your job, the requirements of your marriage, the necessities of your family, the customs of society, may seem to force other things upon you. These are only delusions. They are not responsibilities. You only think they are. It is not a duty for you to do them, than for a hummingbird catch fish, because its young are hungry. When you give up the tension of trying to be what you aren't, and to do what you can't, you will do better than your previous best. Relaxation is essential to reason, fundamental in spiritual guidance. A nervous, high-strung perfectionist, full of guilt because he isn't omnipotent, fumbles all he fashions, muttering when he could speak, and leaving undone half he might have accomplished. All in all, your constitution makes you a certain type of being, whose rate of motion is swift or slow, regular or spasmodic, delicate or strong. Your mind is accented on some level of life, between the most material and the most spiritual planes. Your refinement is a matter of your chromosomes. Your service to your fellows is a biological question. People have often asked me, what is the cure of egotism? The answer is simple: knowledge. Knowledge that the credit for all you are goes to life and your ancestral stream. Knowledge that you are a reflexive organism, something of a mirror, who flashes when life shines. Knowledge that pride is an evidence of ignorance and silliness. To some people, there seems to be a conflict between the doctrines of never compromise yourself and no ego satisfactions. They cannot understand how one maintains individuality, yet accommodates to others. They think possession of personality implies arrogance. This is mainly because they see so much childish egotism, simulating strength of character. In fact, millions are contentious and arbitrary, from the belief that the demeanor implies strength. They fear that good humor and a kindly manner suggest a yielding nature. Nothing could be further from the truth. Militancy makes enemies. A puffed chest and a dominating voice invite resistance. They mark you as a weakling, one who dares not be gentle and generous. Good humor isn't a trait of character. However, it is an art, which requires practice. Observe the effectiveness of persistent pleasantness, not, of course, that suave manner of the professional persuader, or the pseudo-religious smile of the sentimentally virtuous. Heaven defend us from false cordiality. But you don't need to keep still just because an ass brays. Most people won't believe it. But it isn't so much what you do as how you feel that puts other people at ease. We convey our true spirits in a million indirect ways. A look of eye, inflection of voice, touch of the hand, a dominant motive, even affects what we don't say or do, quite as much as it shapes our conduct. You can't put people at ease if you don't want them to be at ease. If you are envious and full of hate, the best book on etiquette will not make you a companionable person. Interest and love for that queer creature, man, puts men at ease. In your society, the secret of being yourself successfully depends upon a wise balance. Then, between the basic law of selfhood and the magic formula of intimacy, determined to be true to your own being, you resist any compromise of self, yet never impose the ways of that self on others. You allow no ego satisfaction against the will of nature and the spirit of mutual aid. If you wish to keep your friends and your position, never accept an honor alone. Share your recognition with all who were with you. In its winning, a single credit becomes a debit. You may be the crowning stone at the crest of the pyramid, but it's the other stones which keep you there. You aren't appreciated for all you do. In fact, you are efficient in thought and deficient in love. You aren't appreciated at all. People prefer you to be ordinary. It takes them seem less drab by contrast. There is a second reason why this is a successful way. People, while they don't want you to be too different, don't want you to be like themselves, or an echo of others. To repeat the glory makes it seem insignificant. To lose distinction in the herd makes you a dull companion. 2 or 3 unique ways of being yourself invite friendliness. You can't like the individual who tries to be everything and is found everywhere, doing what you would otherwise have done and saying what you were forced to keep still about. Individuality is only successful when concentrated. There are a few ways in which you are bright. Shine there. Keep your light for those thoughts and feelings where you are intelligent. Retire from the discussions and activities that are better carried on by others. Among your associates, he who knows what he doesn't know and knows enough not to seem to know it, is listened to, for what he knows. All in all, much depends upon the art of being interesting. But in a few words, if you can smile, and not look silly, if you can joke, without being a bore, if you can laugh, and keep your teeth in, if you can tell a good story once, if you can listen, as well as you talk, if you can work, as well as loaf, if you can do whatever you claim, if you can give, as well as take, and, all the while, keep your margin, you're invited to dinner.